Every morning, the small market near my house begins with very familiar sounds. The sound of motorbikes passing by, vendors calling out to customers, knives hitting cutting boards, plastic bags rustling, and the smell of fresh vegetables, meat, fish, and fruit blending into the humid air of Saigon. To many people, this is just an ordinary market, but for workers like me, this market almost decides the meals for the entire day. What should I buy that is cheap? What should I cook so it is enough to eat? How can I make sure that by the end of the month, I still have enough money to pay for housing, electricity, water, and send a little back to my family in the countryside? Those are the thoughts that always run through my mind whenever I step into the market. My name is Toon. I am 36 years old, and I am just an ordinary worker, earning about $500 a month. It may not sound too low at first, but living in the city with a small family and debts to pay, I have come to understand that earning money is hard, but keeping money is even harder. Every month, as soon as I receive my salary, before I can even think about buying anything for myself, I already have to divide it into different parts. One part goes to the bank loan, another part goes to slowly paying back the relatives who lent me money when I bought this old house. Another part is for my daughter's education, food, electricity, water, gasoline, medicine, and many other small expenses. My day usually starts very early. Before the sun gets too hot, I wake up and boil water. Breakfast for a worker like me is often just a cup of instant noodles and a packet of instant coffee. Not because I do not like good food, but because I have to choose what is fastest, cheapest, and most convenient. I pour hot water into the noodle cup, wait a few minutes, make a cup of instant coffee, and that becomes my breakfast to start the day. Some days, when I look at such a simple meal, I feel a little sad. But then I tell myself that as long as I have something warm in my stomach to go to work, to take care of my child, and to keep going for another day, that is enough. After breakfast, I clean the table, wipe away the water stains, throw away the noodle cup, and wash the cup I used for coffee. These little things may not seem important, but they make the old house feel a little tidier. I drink another glass of plain water as a way to remind myself to stay awake and alert, because there are still many things to do today. There are days when I wish I could sleep a little longer, but working people rarely have the right to give in to their own tiredness. Even when tired, we still have to get up. Even when sad, we still have to take care of things. Even when money is short, we still have to keep calculating. After that, I tie my hair neatly and prepare things for my daughter to go to her drawing class. She is still young, so mornings are always rushed. Sometimes she is still sleepy. Sometimes she asks all kinds of questions on the way. I take her to the drawing class and watch her walk inside. In my heart, I feel both love and motivation. Every time I look at her, I remember why I keep trying. I can eat instant noodles, wear the same old shirt, and buy fewer things for myself. But I always want my daughter to study properly and grow up feeling protected. After taking my daughter to her drawing class, I stand there for a moment and watch her enter the classroom before leaving. It is not a fancy class, but for her, it is a very happy time. She gets to hold pencils, color, and draw whatever she likes. Seeing her excited over those small drawings makes my heart feel lighter. We adults spend the whole year worrying about money, debt, food, and daily life. After leaving my daughter's drawing class, I go to withdraw money. Holding the money in my hand does not make me feel happy. It makes me start calculating. Which debt should I pay first? How much should I keep for groceries? Will there be enough left for gasoline? Will anything unexpected happen this weekend? For people with higher incomes, withdrawing money may be just a normal thing. But for a worker earning $500 a month, every bill already has its own purpose. Some bills are for the bank, some are for relatives, some are for meals, some are for my child. The moment I hold the money, it already feels like it no longer belongs to me. I return to the familiar market. Today, I stop by the pork stall first, at the market. I always have to look carefully, ask the price carefully, and choose a piece that fits my budget. I do not buy much, just enough to make soup and marinate a little for grilling. The meat vendor knows me, so we talk naturally. Seeing that I only buy a small amount, she gives me some mustard greens to bring home and cook soup. It is only a small bunch of vegetables, but to me, it is kindness. At a countryside market or a local market, people do not always need big words. A handful of extra vegetables, a simple question, or a small discount of a few thousand dong is enough to warm someone's heart. A few steps later, I stop by the vegetable stall. Today there are mustard greens, winter melon, scallions, herbs, and a few other green vegetables. I choose the fresh ones that are reasonably priced. The vegetable vendor also gives me a little extra, saying, I can take it home to make the soup taste sweeter. I smile and thank her. In the life of a working person, small things like this are precious, not because they are worth a lot of money, but because they make me feel that I am not alone in this city. Some vendors have a hard life too, just like me, but they still keep kindness in their hearts. I also buy a cup of orange juice on some market days. When the weather is hot and my body feels tired, a cold cup of orange juice makes me feel awake again. To other people, a cup of orange juice may be nothing special, but for me, even before buying it, I still have to think, should I drink it today? Should I save that money to buy more vegetables instead? In the end, I still buy it, because sometimes I also need to give myself a small treat. Living frugally does not mean being so harsh on yourself that you become exhausted. As I pass a stall selling cake and sweet desserts, the vendor sits there watching the few people walking by. She says business has been slow lately, and the market has become much quieter than before. The food is laid out, cakes and sweet desserts are all there, but there are not many buyers listening to her. I find it very familiar. Every working person is struggling. Buyers have to tighten their spending, while sellers worry about not being able to sell their goods. An empty market is not just about having fewer customers. It is also a sign that life has slowed down. People have less money in their pockets, and everyone is more careful with every expense. Nearby, there is a woman selling children's clothes. The small outfits are neatly hung, colorful and cute, but she also says sales have been slow. She says children's clothes used to sell more easily, but now everyone thinks carefully. Some people only buy new clothes when the old ones are already too small. I listen and feel that she is right. I am the same. I walk past many other stalls and notice that the market is truly quiet today. Some aisles that are usually crowded are now quite empty. I stop for quite a while. The vendor has all kinds of fruit. Grapes, longans, plums, mangoes, apples, lychees, and many other seasonal fruits. Vietnamese fruit always looks appealing with fresh colors and a light fragrance. I look and calculate what I should buy today so that my daughter can have some fruit without going over the amount I plan to spend. In the end, I buy a small amount of longans, not much, just enough for the two of us to eat after the meal, but to me that is already a small joy in the day. Next to that stall, there is a woman selling winter melon and homegrown rice. Hearing the words homegrown makes it feel closer and more familiar. Winter melon is easy to cook. It can be used to make soup with meat. It is refreshing and economical. Rice is even more important for a working family. As long as there is rice at home, we can feel a little more secure. A little farther ahead is the fish stall. The fish seller has many different kinds of fish on display. Fresh fish, small fish, big fish, cheaper kinds, and more expensive kinds. I stand there and look for a while, but since I already bought pork today, I do not buy any fish with my income. I have to know when to stop at the market. If I buy everything I want, the money will not be enough. Sometimes, just spending too much in one market trip can make the next few days much tighter. The city teaches people how to calculate through very specific things like this.
A
woman selling rambutan calls me over and gives me one to try. The rambutan is sweet, juicy, and very good, she says. I can try it first, and if it is not good, I do not have to buy any. After tasting it, I really think it is delicious. But because I already bought longans earlier, I do not buy more. I smile, thank her, and continue walking. Near the end of the market, there is a man selling guavas. The guavas look very fresh, green, and crunchy. On the way home, I stop by a water canal where lotus plants are growing. In the middle of a city filled with dust, smoke, and noisy markets, seeing green lotus leaves on the water somehow makes my heart calm down. The lotus does not need a luxurious place to bloom. It only needs mud, water, sunlight, and time, and it can still rise beautifully. Looking at the lotus, I think about the lives of working people. When I get home, I put everything down and start preparing the meal. First, I wash the pork clean. I marinate one portion for grilling. I add just enough seasoning. Nothing complicated, just a little fish sauce, pepper, onion, garlic, and sugar for fragrance. For a family meal, the food does not have to be expensive. It only needs the care of the person who cooks it. I leave the meat to absorb the seasoning. The remaining pork I wash carefully and use it to cook soup with winter melon and the mustard greens the meat vendor gave me in the morning. After that, I turn on the rice cooker. The sound of the rice cooker switching on feels very familiar. For Vietnamese people, a family meal begins with a pot of rice. The dishes may be simple, but the rice should be hot. While waiting for the rice to cook, I peel the winter melon. Its skin is firm, so I have to peel it slowly and cut it into bite-sized pieces. I think about the meals my mother used to cook when I was young. Just winter melon soup, boiled vegetables, braised fish, or braised pork, yet it always tasted good. I pick through the vegetables, remove the old leaves, and keep the tender ones. Since the vegetables were given to me at the market, I do not want to waste them. After that, I wash them several times to clean off the dirt. These are things that repeat every day. They may look small, but they take a lot of time after a long day of work. Even when tired, I still have to cook, clean, and take care of my child. But if I do not cook at home, eating out is both expensive and less reassuring for a worker to save money. It has to be exchanged with effort. Saving money means spending more time, more labor, and more patience. The pot of soup begins to boil. The smell of winter melon, mustard greens, and pork makes the small kitchen feel warm. The old house may not be beautiful. The kitchen may not be new. But when there is the smell of cooked rice and hot soup, it still becomes a home. I grill the marinated pork and turn it carefully so it does not burn. The meal is simple, but my daughter likes it. When it is time, I go back to the drawing class to pick up my daughter. Every day, the moment I pick her up after class is when my heart feels the lightest. She runs out and tells me that she drew something beautiful today. On the way home, she talks about all kinds of things from class. When we get home, I set the meal for the two of us. Today's meal has hot rice, winter melon soup with pork, mustard greens, and grilled pork. It is not a fancy meal, but it is enough to fill our stomachs. My daughter eats happily, and watching her eat makes me happy too. After eating, I clean up the dishes, wipe the table, collect the trash, and wash the pots and pans. These things happen every day, whether anyone films them or not. The life of a worker does not have many glamorous scenes. It is a chain of small tasks connected together. Waking up early, eating quickly, taking my daughter to drawing class, going to work, going to the market, calculating expenses, cooking, cleaning, paying debt, and then sleeping so I can continue again tomorrow. But it is exactly these small things that make up a family, a home, and a life. As the afternoon comes, I sweep the small yard in front of the house. The yard is not big, but it is a place where my daughter can stand and play, where I keep a few things, and where dust and leaves fall every day. Sweeping the yard feels a little like clearing my own heart. Each sweep gathers away a little dust and a little tiredness from the long day. I know that tomorrow the yard may get dirty again. The debt will still be there. Work will still be tiring. The market may still be quiet, and money will still have to be calculated. But at least in this moment, the house is a little tidier, and my heart feels a little lighter. After that, I feed the fish. Watching the fish swim close and compete for small bits of food gives me a tiny joy. People can find peace in things that do not cost much. A lotus canal by the road, a hot meal, a drawing made by my daughter, a freshly swept yard, and a few fish swimming in a tank. These things do not erase my debt. They do not raise my monthly salary. They do not turn this old house into a new one. But they give me a little more strength to keep going. Life on a $500 monthly salary is like this. It is not completely tragic, but it is not easy either. It stands on the thin line between getting by and falling short. If no one gets sick, if the motorbike does not break down, and if nothing unexpected happens, that month can be manageable. But if even one unexpected thing occurs, every calculation can be turned upside down. That is why a worker does not live only by the strength of their hands, but also by patience, thrift, and hope. I know that out there are luxury apartment complexes, brightly lit supermarkets, cool air-conditioned gyms, stylish coffee shops, and lives that are far more comfortable. But I also know that in small alleys, quiet markets, and old houses, there are many people quietly trying their best, just like me. We may not appear in the most beautiful images of the city, but we are part of this city. We work, raise our children, pay our debts, go to the market, cook meals, repair old things, and keep the lights on in our homes. Maybe today I am not rich yet. Maybe this house is still in debt. Maybe breakfast is still just instant noodles and instant coffee. Maybe every time I go to the market, I still have to calculate every 1,000 dong. But I believe that as long as I still have my health, my family, a daughter to love, and a place to return to after a long day, then this life is still worth trying for. And maybe, from these very ordinary days, a gentler future will slowly be built, little by little.